All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Challying the Boys. I am your host, Stephen Chalicum, and you can follow me and the show on Twitter at ChallyATB. Joining me, thankfully, tonight for, I don't know, like the third or fourth consecutive episode are both the
Yeah, we're on
co-hosts,
a roll,
Will and
baby.
Stash. Yeah, we're on the roll, like roll tide or something. Um, Gentlemen, how are we feeling tonight? It is now officially week one of the NFL. Like we got a game. There's a game tomorrow night. How
Let's
do
get
we
it
feel?
rolling, baby. Let's get it rolling.
Let's go.
Stash looks like he just woke up. All right. So what we got a quick little episode. We're gonna do some of the superlatives. Actually, I think I got the list from some random Dallas Cowboys Facebook page. And we decided, hey, let's take that list and just see what kind of names we can throw at this. So we're gonna jump into that, and hopefully maybe we'll get some feedback on the show. Let us know what you guys think. So to start, and no specific order, but to start, we're going to start with what we think the biggest concern for the Dallas Cowboys currently is. Um, Stash, let's give you the toss up because I feel like you're going to struggle the most here.
I'm gonna say the offensive line, specifically the
Low hanging
left
fruit.
guard, center, left guards, the left side, left tackle, left guard, center. That trio.
Okay. I need you're just concerned. Got it. All right.
Well,
Anything?
I
Is there
mean, you're,
anything more in specific? So I actually had the same thing, and I'll pick up something else. But was there anything more? No.
you got the unknown with Tyler Smith. I mean, he was originally going to be left guard. Now he's going to have to play left tackle, and he hasn't played there. He hasn't practiced there in a while. You got Connor McGovern, who's going to now play left guard, who we've seen try to do that, not at a probably an NFL level, I would say. And then you got Tyler Biotish at center, who's there's been questions and people have been trying to replace him for the past
Yeah.
6 months to a year now too.
Yeah.
So
It's all fair. It's all real. Will, what do you got?
Well, I think we were all going to pick offensive line, but I'll just, I won't. I mean, the only person you can trust is Zach Martin on the
Yeah.
offensive line. So even if all the other four guys are average, the biggest concern would still be offensive line. Even if all of them weren't dumpster fires, if they were all just average NFL players, that would still be the biggest concern of the team, in my opinion, because
if
it affects the run game, it affects Dak, it affects the pass, it affects everything else. So
if
that's
they're
why,
all if they're all average, that's a win for Dallas.
True. Yeah. If
yeah,
they
Outside
but
are league
outside of Zach,
average. Yeah.
right,
if
but
they're
I still think that doesn't change the answer to the question though, right? Like it's a big win for Dallas. Yeah, obviously that's really they'd be if they're all average, then they're really good. But or I guess Steve's going to tell us who else would you pick, or what else would you be able to pick if you didn't
So my
pick offensive line?
what my second answer was here was is the wide receiver core, can they do enough? Right. And I guess the biggest question there being is CeeDee Lamb and Noah Brown are the only ones on your roster right now who have caught an NFL touchdown, right? And I think you could even stretch that
Hmm.
to an NFL pass, or have NFL receptions. That's obviously not including the tight end position, right? But like it's extremely young. We don't really know what we're getting there, so um, we're not looking for them to be the trio we had last year, or what we at least thought we were going to get last year. But can they do enough? Can they stay afloat? Can they function in any capacity, right? Like that's something we still have to learn. But yeah, I agree. The offensive line is the
Hmm.
biggest concern. um, Rookie of the year, Will.
Ferguson.
Sash.
I will say something though. The rookie of the year can't be Tyler Smith, right? Because the offensive linemen don't get points.
Well, it could be. It could be. Why not?
I
That
mean,
would just be the
they don't
best
get
rookie then, right? The rookie of the year, like,
Oh,
uh,
so are you looking at this as rookie of the year literal for the NFL or rookie of the year for the Dallas Cowboys? So I said rookie of the year for Dallas Cowboys.
I'm still
I
gonna
mean,
stick with Ferguson.
Okay.
if it's not Tyler Smith, they're in trouble. So I'm gonna say it's not Tyler Smith. I'm gonna say Cavante Turpin.
Okay. So wow.
Steve said you would say that.
I did,
But
didn't I? I
Yeah.
said somebody would say something stupid like that.
But
I'm just kidding.
he said Tyler Smith first, though. He led with that.
I'm actually surprised we all have three different answers. This is the one I thought we would all have the same answer. So I have Sam Williams, and I disagree that if Tyler Smith is not your rookie of the year, for the Cowboys, that you're in trouble, right? Like you need him to have a good year regardless, but I think Sam Williams can have an extremely strong year and just statistically outshine what Tyler Smith would put up statistically for an offensive lineman.
well, that would require him to be actually playing.
How many sacks is he going to get?
How much playing time is he going to get?
What does it matter if he's only pass rushing? He should be able to go.
I'm just saying, on that first initial depth chart that just came out at the start of this week, he's not the backup defensive end.
I mean, I don't know how. I personally wouldn't put too much value into that. I mean, Michael Gallup was on the depth chart.
Take it for what it's for, because it's still, like you said, Michael Gallup's on it, but they had Terrell Basham ahead of him.
I don't know. I mean,
he's probably going to get 15 to 25 snaps a game. I'm doing a guess.
And they're probably
average from game 1 to game 17.
And they're all probably going to be passing downs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's going to have the shots at the quarterback, and I'm not saying he's not going to have the Micah Parsons year, or at least I wouldn't expect that. But he's going to have his shots at the quarterback, and he doesn't need to get sacks. Pressures count.
Put a number on it. Okay.
5.
What's your combination of sacks and pressures for game?
Sacks and pressures for the year?
Yeah. Yep.
I wouldn't be. So I would say 5 sacks, give or take a sack, and this is going to be too general of a statement to make you fucking happy. But he would be on the better half of 10 pressures.
No, that's exactly what I would have said too. I would have said 15 total.
Okay, yeah.
A little less than 1 a game.
And I think if you get that, and barring Tyler Smith being an All-Pro, that's your rookie of the year. Especially if he's only getting 20 snaps a game, give or take, right? Like, I don't know. Smith
was my second option. Sam Williams is my second option.
He wasn't in my top 3.
What's like
True.
Being wrong?
Turpin number 1.
I'm just saying.
But that's good though. I mean, if we're all saying different stuff though, that's good though.
The wide receiver would be up there too. The other one, Tolbert.
Yeah, I thought about that one, but we'll see. It would be nice. Okay,
they need him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they need him to perform for sure. Okay, most underrated. Will.
Man. Come on, man. This is an easy one too. Most underrated player on the Dallas Cowboys is Leighton Vander Esch.
Wrong again. All right, Stash, what do you got? Are we fighting over it?
You can go first if you.
I put Anthony Brown. I don't think Anthony.
Okay.
So I think the only people who actually put any form of respect on Anthony Brown's name are people who actually watch the football game, right? Like your stereotypical Dallas Cowboys fan hates Anthony Brown for no reason, and he's arguably a better corner than Trayvon Diggs in coverage. I'll say it. I said it. What do you got, Sash?
I got DeMarcus Lawrence. I mean, people always hate on DeMarcus Lawrence. Like, they forget who he is, what he does. I mean, they hate on him for what he does in the run game. He forgets they have to double team him in the pass rush game, or else he gets there pretty much every time. So.
Yeah, I guess I don't really have a real argument for that one. I would, if I were to argue, I would say he's like properly rated. I don't know if that's an answer, but yeah, I could definitely see the tone where, a lot of people don't see what he does in the run game, and it's extremely undervalued because he doesn't get the sacks. So that is tough. So yeah, I guess I do kind of agree with what you're saying, or can understand rather. Will, looks like you got something itching your butthole. What's going on there?
I was just kind of curious on how we all kind of took that. I mean, I guess it does depend on how. You see, I just don't think. I think that Anthony Brown in the mainstream is shit on, right? Like by the most people, like even most Cowboy fans, I think that they just don't think much of him. So I guess that would make him underrated. But me personally, I just don't think, that's why
Right.
I didn't even consider him, honestly, because I think he's like way better than,
Yeah. I see
or
what you're saying, and I actually 100% agree. Like, I personally would not underrate Anthony Brown, but I guess I was looking at it like you were saying from, I was trying to look at it, I guess, what an outside perspective would be, and it
yeah.
is, right? Like, the outside perspective is that Anthony Brown is not a number two corner, um, yeah, which I would strongly disagree with, but that's why we're
He
here.
didn't. Yeah. No, I know, and I'm not trying to pile on, but like I was even surprised like Stash picked Lawrence because I actually think he's. Man, he's. I mean, he's just. Yeah, you're right. The problem is he doesn't get the sacks. So in mainstream media, they're like, man, he just like doesn't really put up the numbers, and that's me. I mean, I'm the same way. I mean, they paid him so much money, he needs to get the numbers. Whether how good he is,
I mean, people have been trying
kind
to
of.
get rid of him for a couple of years now, and all he does is just make plays.
Well, I mean, we know now that he's not going anywhere until the end of his deal because he basically it's all guaranteed or whatever they did. But him not getting the sacks and him getting hurt, missing some stuff, kind of hurts him. I guess. But I do know like a lot of people just say. I mean, I don't even know something recently had him as he was one of the top 3 ends in the league based on like pass rush, pass like win rate, and then also run. Like when it combines them all. Him
Yeah.
and Cameron Jordan, the dude from the Saints, and I forget who the other dude was or whatever, but he was like right up there. So I don't know, like, yeah, I guess that is kind of underrated. If his numbers are really high and he doesn't get the recognition, but still, man, he got paid, so it's like everybody always dumps on a dude that gets paid, right?
Yeah, true.
If they're not doing crazy stuff.
Yeah. X Factor. Stash. Hit
Said him
me.
before. I mean, the ultimate X factor, I guess. I'm just gonna say my dude because you're probably gonna go somewhere else, which is the normal one. I'm gonna say Turpin.
Okay. Well,
I think it's Micah Parsons.
Yeah, I mean
yeah,
that
yeah.
was
That
the
that
obvious.
was there's your low hanging fruit,
Really?
ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, see, I didn't think that. I don't know. I thought like the low hanging fruit is like you just got to pick Dak, right? Because he's the quarterback, and if he doesn't play good, then they don't have a chance.
Yeah, I would no, I would disagree. I agree with the sense if your quarterback doesn't play good, then you don't have a chance.
If he
But
plays as good
he's
as
not your
Daniel
X factor.
Jones, what are they winning?
But you know what you're getting out of Dak, right? Like, I mean,
Don't we know what we're getting out of Parsons?
no, he had.
I do.
I mean, he
Lawrence
only
Taylor ain't
had
shit.
one
That's what I hear.
phenomenal year. We almost expect his stats to regress. We don't want that to happen, but they're just you would expect natural regression.
I don't expect that.
And I think they would totally use him in an entirely different way this year, or at least maybe not a different way, in more ways
I'll
than what
take
we
the low
saw
hanging
last year.
fruit. I want to be right on this one.
That's why, yeah, I'm not saying you can't, but you are wrong. It's Jabril Cox, right?
Okay.
So it's Jabril Cox because we expect Micah Parsons to provide us superior level of play. We need a second linebacker there to show up. That's going to be your boy Jabril Cox.
Hmm.
That it? That it? Okay.
I like that. That's interesting.
Bounce back. I'll lead this one off. I guess just fuck it. I've got Biotish here, and actually, as Stash briefly mentioned earlier, we had questions about Biotish last year during the season. We even thought that they would potentially be drafting Tyler Linderbaum to replace him, or at least some people did. I don't mean to speak for both of you guys, but so just because that was even a thought, right? Like that kind of bodes to how we didn't necessarily care for his performance. So if anybody needs to have a bounce back season, it's the guy we were actually looking to replace in the offseason. Or one of the guys we were looking to replace in the offseason at least. So that's why I got Biotish.
I like that.
Wilma.
I picked Lawrence.
Okay. I tinkered with that too, but I was like, man, yeah, he still he was injured, but he came back and played well. But yeah, I don't disagree. Stash, what do you
I
got?
ex-
Oh,
Oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Sorry.
I was just gonna, I expect him to have a chance at making, getting Pro Bowl votes.
I have Ezekiel Elliott.
Okay. Um, what do you
Only
what are you
reason with that
expecting
is
Izzy to
because I
be?
think this is his last season. So I
Hmm.
think Dallas is gonna just give him the ball.
Run
So
him to
I
the
think
ground.
yep,
Yeah, you could be right.
put him out to pasture.
Jesus Christ, this is getting dark quick. All right. What about your don't forget about this guy? Will, what do you got there? Or who do you have?
I have Jabril Cox.
Okay. Nice.
I think that linebacker group is nice. I think he's going to force his way onto the field. And because that, I think they have to. The defense is going to have to make more plays than they made last year. Even if it's not turnovers, they got to get off the field
Yep.
more often. Maybe it's a couple less interceptions, but a few more sacks. And that's going to come from Parsons rushing, or maybe again, But can we? I know I picked LV as the most underrated, but we can't really rely on him because he can get hurt. But also, man, we don't know what we're getting from Barr.
True.
Maybe
Breach.
he might be done.
Could be.
So if that's the case, then Cox has got to play. So just don't forget about him.
Stash. What about you? Don't forget about who.
Don't forget about
Say it. Say it.
Osa Osa
Ah.
Odigizua.
Okay. That's good answers. Yeah. That's a good one. Anything specific to there? Or are you just happy with saying his name because it's fun to say?
It is fun.
It is.
Gotta get a jersey.
So I have Terrence Steele here, and I hate to be like a negative Nancy, but we're so caught up with Tyler Smith and Connor McGovern and Jason Peters, we're totally forgetting that Terrence Steele is not. Uh, there's questions about Terrence Steele. We just leave it at that, right? Like he is a downgrade from Lyle Collins in almost every aspect. It could be minute. I see Will you shaking head. It's true, right? Like he's not as good as Lyle Collins was. Um,
Maybe 3 years ago.
whatever. I mean, he's not an upgrade from where Lyle was last year. Maybe he is in the sense that he was on the field more, but which is obviously beneficial. But in a talent aspect, no, that's not the case. So don't forget that like it's not just the left side of the line that's kind of screwed, right? Like you still have a right tackle you probably aren't really confident in and are looking to maybe move on from next year as well. That's all.
Hmm.
Uh, Don't get me wrong, though. I hope he plays good enough where they don't have to move on from him. That's not what I'm saying. Breakout candidate. I'll lead this one off. I don't think we have any matching one here, but just lead it off. I've got Gallimore. Um, Similar to probably why you had Lawrence, right? Like he had an injury last year, even though when he came back, he still did play fairly well. I think Gallimore is just due to have a full healthy season and fuck shit up. Defensive line is overdue to just be good. They got a lot of names there, and I think Gallimore is going to lead that interior. And if not, it's going to be Odigizua.
Oh, Diggy.
Odiggy. Stash, who you got?
For my breakout candidate,
Yeah.
this
Sir.
is gonna
Micah
Oh,
Parsons.
yeah. I mean,
it's a name you've said before. You both have said it.
oh,
Jabril Cox.
Nice.
he does fit into a bunch of categories, right? Or the chance, obviously, if we're all picking him.
Cox everywhere.
But yeah, I mean, he's gonna get his chance with Micah and LVE, and I think he's ready to knock out more NFC East quarterbacks.
True. Oh man, that was almost not a spoiler alert. Fucking almost a teaser. That was almost my bold take was that Jabril Cox would knock out Tom Brady like he did fucking Daniel Jones last year, but I figured that was messed up, so I changed it.
Tom Brady ain't gonna be running, so
Yeah.
I mean, he's got no center. He's gonna be running fucking somewhere if Michael Parsons is coming up the middle. Just saying. Dark horse. Will.
Breakout?
Dark horse.
Can we
Or
skip that?
did we not get your breakout? Sorry, yeah, go ahead. Give us your breakout. My bad.
Easy. Same position. Quinn Bohanna.
Okay. Is that your dark horse as well?
No, breakout.
Okay.
That they're gonna have massive improvement on in the run game, and he's gonna have significantly more snaps than he did last year, and he's gonna be the main reason, and I'm sticking to it.
For sure. I dig it. So just go right into dark horse then, since that was an error on my part. Please take us away on dark horse.
Malik Hooker.
Did not see that coming. It's pretty dark. It's not a. I guess I can't say that.
I think the Cowboys. I know it's easy to say this now. Whatever. This is they are deep on defense. For most of our after the Super Bowls, for most of our Cowboy fandom, the Cowboys they've always had like Des Bryant or Terrell Owens or DeMarcus Ware or Tony Romo. Like they've always had high-end players, but then the back end of the roster was always dog shit. Right? That was the problem. Well, like then Romo would get hurt, and that's why they couldn't keep up. Like they didn't never had a backup for the backups or whatever. You finally have dudes. Hooker's not a backup, but he's a high-end pick. Coming back, he's gonna make plays. He's the most. He probably could have went in the most underrated player too for me, because he's gonna be on the field and he's gonna make plays, and that's my dark horse because let's go. I just rambled there. Didn't say much. Sorry.
It's okay. Stash.
My dark horse contributor is Israel Mukwamu.
That's dark.
You can't say that, man.
I just meant as in that's really far down the line.
Okay. Yeah. So
I mean, I think you're going to see him be playing a lot more.
I like it.
But just the way he's come along in this offseason and shown in the preseason, I think you got to give him some reps on the field, and I think he's going to contribute.
So my guy's a little closer to the top and is probably the lightest dark horse.
Low hanging fruit.
No, it's definitely not low hanging fruit, right? Like
I think it is.
No, I mean, so I said Tony Pollard, and I say he's the lightest dark horse, right? Because he's definitely being acknowledged in national media, or like all the Dallas Cowboys fans know who Tony Pollard is and know how explosive he can be. But I put him for dark horse because I think I want this to be the year that Dallas finally gets this right, and actually utilizes Tony Pollard to the extent that he can and should be used. And I'm not saying, rush him 25 times and 20 fucking receptions, anything crazy, right? But like just utilize the dude like he should be. And I want to stretch that also to Turpin, right? Like Turpin should not just be a kickoff and punt return dude. He is obviously extremely explosive. I don't know how to use him in the offense, so that's why I'm not an offensive coordinator. But there has to be other ways to use these explosive players. So again, just to reiterate, I've got Tony Pollard as a dark horse because I think this is the year that Dallas figures this out before he gets paid in the offseason. Hopefully. And then for unsung hero, I have Quentin Bohanna here for pretty much actually the same reasons you said, Will, for a breakout candidate. But I looked at it again. I guess obviously more is a little bit of an unsung hero. I think he's gonna be the leader on that defensive front, and hopefully will be the leader as to why they slow down the run this year. And because he's a 6th round pick, fat sloppy dude, it's just not sexy, right? Like in the football world, he's just a fucking trash.
He's so far down. He's so far down in totem pole.
So he will. I look forward to him being an unsung hero. Stash.
Brian Anger.
Okay. Yeah.
Did not see special teams getting chosen. Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good choice.
Nice.
I mean, he was basically your unsung hero last year too. He kept them in so many games by just being
able to flip
the best punter in the league, and they're probably going to need more of that.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and I predict just because we have a crazy ass special teams coordinator, he's gonna have a couple of throws this year too.
Kind of.
Okay.
He didn't have one last year, right?
He
But
didn't have. No, he did not. He had.
right.
I think he had a run. He might have had a run,
Yes.
but I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
he's gonna have some throws this year.
Okay. That's why. Yeah. I like that. That's a good prediction. That's juicy. My unsung hero is pretty obvious. I think if you just would have had a guess in here, I mean, I think it's gonna be Noah Brown.
Jesus Christ.
I'm serious that he, whether you like him or not, he's going to have more opportunities than he's ever had in his career. And I took Unsung Heroes kind of like a guy down lower on the totem pole or roster, and he's got to make. If he doesn't make plays, the first couple weeks they are in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think that's something. I mean, he might not make. I mean, he's not going to make it. I'm not saying he's vying for, Pro Bowl or whatever, but he has to have a handful of catches every game, and it can't just be little, 8-yard outs or 10-yard outs. They have to be, he's got to get 15-yard variety catches and stuff. He's got to stretch the field a little bit more than what he has done in the past.
So do you know how many receptions Noah Brown has had his entire career so far?
It's really small number. I don't know. I don't know the number off the top of my head,
So
but it's real small.
I haven't looked this up myself. Stash, do you want to take a guess or anything?
I want to say it's like 60.
Oh, so it's even less than that, right? And I actually
35,
haven't looked
something
this
like
up.
that.
It's
Yeah.
39.
Okay.
Again, supposedly from what I heard in another podcast. So he's got a chance to match his career receptions this year. Like he will do.
Oh no,
Should.
he will.
He's
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
to. Right? That's kind of like crazy to me, right? Like you go the first 4 years or whatever it's been, and you only make 39 receptions, and then in 1 year you go over that. So yeah, I agree. He's kind of got to have a pretty big year, at least in respects to what would be a big year for him. Um, yeah, that's it. So those are our superlatives. So the buzzword of the night. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Let us know if you enjoyed it. Let us know what you think about our answers, and if you disagree, agree, whatever. If you hate them, tell us you hate them, and tell me why you hate them, so I can tell you I hate you back in the comments.
Go watch the fantasy football draft.
Yeah,
Let us
apparently
know where we made mistakes there.
that was pretty big. Yeah, let us know where we could have done better, or why you think you're better than us.
Yeah.
Peace.